If you had to guess where the first major clean aviation fuel plant in the Middle East and Africa would pop up, would you have said Egypt? And what if I told you their main partner was Qatar? Kind of surprising, right? Well, let's break this down, because what's happening here is way more than just a new factory. It's a huge strategic gamble that could completely redraw the green energy map for the whole region. I mean, seriously, a massive energy deal between Egypt and Qatar? Just a few years ago, given their political friction, that would have sounded almost impossible. But what we're seeing here is a classic case of economics trumping politics. The global race for clean energy is officially on, and it's forcing old rivals to become new partners.
And when you look at what each country brings to the table, this partnership suddenly makes perfect sense. It's like a puzzle where the pieces fit perfectly. Egypt has the ultimate strategic location, the Suez Canal, a literal superhighway for global shipping. Qatar, on the other hand, brings the deep pockets, the advanced tech, and decades of know-how in the energy game. It's a match made in geopolitical heaven.
And they are definitely putting their money where their mouth is. We are talking about a $500 million investment over the next 5 years. This isn't some small experiment. This is a serious, long-term commitment that shows both nations are all in on this venture. And that right there is the key. This isn't just about building one plant. For Egypt, this project is their official entry ticket into the incredibly competitive world of sustainable energy. It's a very calculated move to jump ahead in a market that is just about to explode globally. Okay, so what are they actually making? This is where it gets really, really cool. They're basically taking used cooking oil. Yeah, the stuff most of us just throw out. And through a bit of scientific magic, they're turning it into advanced jet fuel. It really is like a kind of modern-day alchemy. It all starts with collecting enormous amounts of used cooking oil. From there, it gets transported and purified to get all the gunk out. And finally, a super complex refining process converts it into what's called sustainable aviation fuel, or SAF. And the best part? It works in existing jet engines. No changes needed. So you might be wondering, why go through all this trouble? Well, the environmental payoff is just huge. SAF can slosh an airplane's carbon emissions by up to 80% compared to regular jet fuel. Let that sink in. The greasy waste from a restaurant's deep fryer is being turned into one of our best tools to decarbonize the aviation industry. And they're not thinking small here. The plan is to churn out 120,000 tons of this stuff every single year. This is a full-blown industrial operation. It's designed to be the catalyst for the entire region's alternative fuel market. So we've got the what and the how. But let's dig into this strategy behind it, because this deal is designed to be a massive win for both countries. It's not one-sided at all. Okay, for Egypt, the wins are obvious. A huge shot of foreign investment, access to cutting-edge tech, and a ton of new jobs. But here's the big one. It pivots them from just being a route for energy to a producer and exporter. And for Qatar, this deal cracks open new markets, gives them a strategic hub right on the Mediterranean, and lets them get hands-on experience in the booming green fuels game. There's a quote from the source material that just nails the ambition here. It says they aren't just building a factory, they're building a regional platform. And that's exactly the right way to think about it. This plant is supposed to be the seed that grows into a much larger renewable energy ecosystem. And that leads us to the grand vision. For more than 150 years, the Suez Canal was all about being the fastest shipping lane on Earth. But that idea is evolving. The plan now is to transform it from just a passageway into a strategic hub that actually produces and distributes clean energy. See, this jet fuel plant is just step one. The bigger dream is to turn the whole Suez Canal Economic Zone into a green energy powerhouse. Think about it. Refueling the 25,000-plus ships that pass through every year with clean fuels made right there. And they're already looking ahead to producing green hydrogen and green methanol. It's a genius move to leverage one of the planet's most valuable pieces of real estate. But here's the catch. They have to move, and they have to move fast. The global race is already underway. The EU is mandating SAF use, the US is offering massive subsidies, and China is investing with everything it's got. That 2027 target for this plant to start exporting, it's not just a goal, it's critical. Whoever gets to market first is going to have a massive advantage. So, the vision is ambitious, the tech is ready, the money is there. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, there's one enormous problem they have to solve. And it is, without a doubt, the single biggest hurdle that will decide if this whole thing flies or fails.
And it all comes down to a simple question of logistics, the supply chain. You can build the most advanced factory in the world, but it's totally useless if you can't seed it. The billion-dollar question is this: how do you reliably collect hundreds of thousands of tons of used cooking oil from millions of homes, restaurants, and factories all across the country?
And yeah, there's no easy answer. It's going to take a massive coordinated effort on all fronts. You're going to need a nationwide collection system that runs like clockwork. You'll need the government to put smart incentives and regulations in place. But maybe the hardest part of all, it's going to take a cultural shift, a huge campaign to convince an entire society that their kitchen waste is actually a valuable resource. So when you boil it all down, the success of this project isn't really about engineering or finance. It all hinges on their ability to build an entirely new green economy, a whole ecosystem from something that until now we've all just thrown in the trash. The countdown has started. The plant is being built. But whether this green fuel gamble ultimately pays off, well, it all comes down to the answer to this one question. It really makes you wonder, is society truly ready to start seeing its waste not as trash, but as treasure?